The date is August 15th, 1971. It is a Sunday. It's a peaceful summer evening in America. Millions of people have finished their dinner and settled in front of their television sets. Back then, there was only one king of prime time, Bonanza. Everyone is watching the Cowboys right across the screen. Life is slow. Life is predictable. But right at the most exciting moment of the show, the screens flicker. The broadcast is interrupted. President Richard Nixon appears. He looks tense. His eyes are fixed on the camera lens. And with the words he is about to speak, he is not just interrupting a TV show. He is about to press a button that will change the price you pay at the grocery store today, the value of the money in your pocket, and even the future of your children. Most people didn't even understand what Nixon was saying that night. He talked about protecting the dollar, about speculators. People just shrugged, said, "Oh, just politics," and went back to their lives when the show resumed. But they were wrong. That night the greatest heist in history took place. A bank wasn't robbed. No. The money in your pocket. Its very chemistry was altered. It was transformed into something else. If you are wondering why you can't support a family on a single salary today, why you can't afford a car for the price your grandfather bought a house for, the answer isn't in today's government or the price tags at the mall. The answer is hidden in that cursed Sunday evening. Let's pull back the curtain. Let me tell you the story they didn't teach you in school. Chapter 1. The Coat Check Illusion. To understand the crime, I first need to ask you a very simple question. What is money? Before 1971, the answer to this question was simple. Money was a claim check. Think of it this way. You go to a theater and you leave your heavy winter coat at the coat check. The attendant hands you a piece of paper with a number on it. That piece of paper is not the coat itself. That paper is your right to claim your coat back. Its value doesn't come from the paper. It comes from the coat hanging in the back room. This is exactly what the U.S. dollar was before 1971. Every single dollar in your pocket had a tangible counterpart, gold, sitting in the vaults of the Federal Reserve. Technically, you could take your $35, walk into a bank, slam it on the counter, and say, "Take your paper. Give me my 1 ounce of gold." This system had one beautiful feature. It kept politicians honest. The government couldn't just print money whenever they felt like it, because if they printed more paper than they had gold in the vault, people would notice. They would panic and demand their gold. It was a leash on the government's neck. A global rule of live within your means. But then, the 1960s arrived, and America caught a very dangerous disease. The disease of I want it all. Chapter 2. The Bluff and the Battleships. America wanted to finance the expensive Vietnam War. It wanted to send men to the moon. It wanted to fund massive Great Society social programs. But all of these things were expensive. Very, very expensive. And they didn't have enough gold to pay for it. So, what did they do? They cheated. While the vault remained static, they secretly turned on the printing press and started printing more coat check tickets. They flooded the world with dollars. The world turned a blind eye for a while. But someone saw through the bluff. French President Charles de Gaulle. De Gaulle was a smart man. He looked at the mountain of dollars America was printing and realized the math didn't add up. In 1965, he stood up and essentially said, "We don't want your green paper anymore. We want the real money. We want the gold." And he didn't just say it. France sent its navy. Yes, you heard that right. French warships docked in New York Harbor, unloaded ships full of paper dollars, and demanded tons of pure gold to be loaded up and taken back to Paris. America was bleeding. The gold reserves at Fort Knox were melting away. Spain was waiting in line. Switzerland was waiting in line. Everyone wanted to dump the dollar and run away with the gold. America was cornered. They had two choices: stop the spending and trigger a massive economic depression, or flip the table over. President Nixon gathered his team that weekend. The location, Camp David. It was a top-secret meeting. Chapter 3. The Secret Weekend and the Betrayal, Friday, August the 13th, 1971. Nixon and his economic team locked themselves inside Camp David. The meeting was so secretive that even high-ranking White House officials didn't know about it. They even cut the telephone lines to Camp David to prevent leaks. They were cut off from the world. For 3 days, they argued. The room smelled of cigarette smoke and panic. And on that Sunday evening, they made the decision. They were going to close the gold window. When Nixon went on television, he told the famous lie. He announced he was suspending the convertibility of the dollar into gold, but he emphasized one word very heavily: temporarily. Temporarily. Such an innocent word, isn't it? But friends, let me give you a life lesson. Nothing is as permanent as a temporary government program. Income tax was introduced as a temporary measure too. It has been over 50 years. That temporary window never opened again. Chapter 4. Modern slavery begins. So, what happened at that moment? At that moment, the dollar turned into fiat money. It meant money with no backing. The value of money no longer depended on gold in a vault. It depended solely on the government saying, "Trust me, this is valuable." The dog was off the leash. There was no longer any barrier to stop the printing press. War breaks out, print money. Financial crisis, print money. Election coming up, print money. But they forgot or ignored a simple rule of mathematics. If you create too much of something, its value drops. Please look at this chart carefully. This is the most terrifying chart in modern history. Up until 1971, productivity and wages climbed together, like brothers holding hands. If a worker produced more, he earned more. But in 1971, a pair of scissors cut the line. Productivity kept going up. We are working harder. Our technology is better. We are producing more than ever. But the wage line? Flat. It flatlined. The days when our fathers could buy a house on a single income, raise 3 kids, and still have savings. Those days died right there, where this chart broke in 1971. They printed the money, but that money didn't come to you. It went to the asset holders. It went to the stock market. It went to real estate. While the assets of the rich inflated, your paycheck melted away in the face of the inflation monster. Chapter 5. Why you work harder for less. You feel it, don't you? You wake up in the morning, you go to work, you grind. Maybe you're more educated than your parents, maybe you work longer hours. But buying a house feels like a fantasy. Even upgrading your car feels like a luxury. You are on a hamster wheel. You run, you sweat, but the scenery never changes. You are not to blame for this. You are not inadequate. It's just that the rules of the game were changed before you even stepped onto the field. You are trying to store your labor, your time, in a vessel that has a hole in the bottom. Whenever the state and central banks print money, they are stealing a fraction of the purchasing power from the money in your pocket. They call it inflation, but in reality it is taxation without representation. While you sleep, someone pushes a button and the value of the money you worked hours to earn simply evaporates. Chapter 6. Conclusion and Manifesto. 1971 was the year money died, but it was also the year the kingdom of debt was crowned. The world we live in today is the direct result of the decision made on that Sunday evening. So, what do? Are we helpless? No. Rule number 1, you cannot win a game if you don't know the rules. They won't teach you this history in schools. They won't explain it on the evening news, because they don't want you to wake up. The system needs you to stay on that hamster wheel to keep the gears turning. But on this channel, we are going to examine exactly how those gears turn and what is stuck between them. We will talk about the history of money, the owners of power, and the truth behind the curtain. If you want to get paid for your labor and break free from this illusion, you are in the right place. I am Finance Epics, and this is the real history of finance. I'll see you in the next video. For now, watch your wallet.